Well, you see him each day presiding over the trial of Derek Chauvin with his soothing voice and calm demeanor. But what's behind all that? Law&Crime's Angenette Levy takes a close look at Judge Peter Cahill. Angenette?
Brian, I spoke with both the chief judge of the Hennepin County's district court and the former public defender about what Judge Cahill is like both inside and outside of the courtroom.
Good morning, everyone. We'll proceed with our next witness.
Each morning, Judge Peter Cahill warmly greets the jurors. You may have noticed some lighthearted moments with them.
Go ahead and throw me under the bus with your fiancée.
But there have also been times when it was clear Cahill was angry.
What's your connection to this case?
And he didn't hesitate to remind people that he's in charge.
I think what we're getting into is criticizing each other's performance. Let's not do that.
Hennepin County's Chief Judge, Todrick Barnett, chose Cahill to preside over the cases of Derek Chauvin and the 3 other officers.
This moment's not too big for him.
Cahill has been on the bench since 2007, and Barnett says he has good control of the courtroom and the law.
He's going to base his decision on the law, and that decision could be unpopular with the public, but it's going to be a sound legal decision.
And I think he's done a really good job with the jurors.
Former Hennepin County public defender Mary Moriarty has appeared in Cahill's courtroom when cameras weren't there.
He was a prosecutor. He was a public defender. He's very conversant in criminal law, which is important. He has pretty good temperament.
That temperament has been on display for the world to see. Judge Cahill making the decision to allow the trial of Derek Chauvin to be streamed gavel to gavel, a first in Minnesota's history.
I thought that it was important that the public have access to this trial, especially with all of the media attention that it received.
Now, Judge Barnett said that Cahill's always willing to jump in and chip in, help out his colleagues when necessary. He did that when one of them became ill. He's also a father and a husband, a father to adult children. And interestingly enough, Barnett said that Cahill is the person who interviewed him when he was moving from the public defender's office over to the county prosecutor's office. So they've known each other for quite some time. Brian?
That's fascinating, Angenette. I understand Judge Cahill is also somewhat of a music fan?
Yeah, we thought we'd tell you, this is kind of a fun little fact about him. So during jury selection, some of the photographers who were camped out outside the courthouse apparently saw him drive off, and there was music blaring, and I asked about that. Apparently, he's a big fan of the Rolling Stones, AC/DC, and Ozzy Osbourne. So a big rock music fan, and apparently when he was driving out one of those days, he gave the hang loose symbol to a bunch of the photographers and reporters. So I asked if he was kind of a cool guy, and Judge Barnett says he's not sure he would describe himself, Cahill would describe himself as a cool guy, but he definitely likes his rock music.
Who would have guessed? Terry Austin, you've been watching this trial from the beginning. Have you seen any clues from Judge Cahill about how he might be leaning or thinking about the case?
Brian, I have not. I do think Judge Cahill, however, is a cool guy, and he's calm and he's collected. He is the most even-handed judge I have ever seen. He clearly has no tolerance for nonsense. So when he sees one of the attorneys saying something that he's already ruled on, he just quickly says, I've ruled on that, or overruled, or sustained. He's very good about that. And he has not given any indications of which side he is leaning on. And so I definitely think he's the right judge for this case. I have no idea if he's for defense or for prosecution. And that is exactly the way a judge is supposed to be.
Right. Brian Buckmeyer, his most important ruling probably so far has been the addition of that third-degree murder charge, which seems it was almost forced on him.
Yeah, I also would have to echo what everyone is saying. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the full question because of the motorcycle in the background. But Judge Cahill is doing what every defense attorney really wants, and that's giving them the ability to try their case. I think he's coming across even keltered, and he's not really pushing the thumb on the proverbial scales of justice in any way, shape, or form.
All right, well, thanks much. Coming up on Law and Crime Daily, why it took more than 6 months to find crucial evidence in the George Floyd case. Plus, Find out when the so-called doomsday couple cult will be in trial, accused of covering up the deaths of 2 children and fleeing to Hawaii to get married.